Back at it again. Back at it again. Episode 22 with the boys. Real
What
Fans
up?
Podcast. Real Fans Everything. Isn't that right, Gabe? Where can you find us, Gabe?
Yeah. All the places. You already found us. If you're watching this now, you're listening back, you found us all things. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, all the things.
Craigslist, Home Depot,
Offer
Lowe's,
up
Bed Bath and Beyond,
the
and
bulletin
beyond
board
and
at
beyond.
Walmart.
Is that where you go to watch your fights? You go to Walmart in the parking lot and just post up there?
Nah, I just go I go to the demo section. You know how they have like the demo section at all the TVs? I just ask, like, I got a homeboy, he just puts it on.
He puts the game on for you? That's actually pretty clutch. You put up to a Target, you know somebody, you save mad money. You don't have to worry about people, you know.
But the thing is, somebody has to buy it. Somebody has to buy it, though.
You go take a can of Coke out of the drink aisle. Nobody's going to notice. You're good, man. Go chill. Post up one of those chairs.
Yeah.
Sit back. Get a pillow.
Me and Gabe actually watched the fight, and it wasn't
How
that
was
bad.
that?
It wasn't that bad.
Tell us about it. I want to hear about that.
You have to recap because I forgot a lot of the fights. So you have to go through one by one.
All right. So we could talk about the two big ones that well, there's three, but we could briefly mention. So the first one that came across that I think me and Gabe want to see the most was Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz, which that fight was fucking insane.
Listen, and I seen a little bit of it. I saw some highlights, and you predicted a good amount of stuff that was gonna happen, and I was like, damn, Julian did say that. So apparently, I called for that second round knockout. That didn't happen. It didn't happen.
No, yeah. So, I mean, we all kind of expected Leon Edwards was going to win that fight. He was just the more technical, better. Well, I don't know. I would say Nate Diaz is a pretty well-conditioned athlete. But we predicted Leon Edwards was just he should win that one. He's younger. I think he's a little bit more talented. Nate Diaz is just a brawler, and he's one of those guys, like, I heard somebody say he's almost like he feels disrespected just by you stepping in the cage with him. He's like, wait, you don't deserve to be here. Like, why are you in this cage with me? And Gabe hates it.
Carry that chip on his shoulder.
And Gabe hates it because Gabe, I don't know why, he just hates Nate Diaz. I don't know what Nate Diaz did to him.
Nate Diaz. Here's what I hate. I hate like unearned swag, like, or this kind of arrogance is like, why are you being arrogant? Like, everybody knows you're a fighter, you're a brawler, that's your reputation. You take shit on the chin, you eat punches. That's kind of your reputation, and he's very well liked. Like, you know, as far as like we're watching the fight, like there's a lot of, pretty much the whole damn restaurant was rooting for Nate Diaz. A lot of people like this guy, and that's fine. But he's not my favorite.
He's the people's champ, man. He's the people's champ.
Bro, he goes out there like he's fucking Floyd Mayweather. Like he's got a 20-0 record or some shit. Like, come on, like calm down.
You know, that's what I think people like about him. Like that's just who
he doesn't
is,
care, bro. He's just gonna brawl.
That's endearing.
He doesn't care about his popularity or social media presence or showmanship. He's in there to like Julian said, just to brawl, get bloody, and you know what I mean, break some bones.
Yeah,
I would say he's authentic, man. But he's not fake. But it's just like, what are you doing? Like your ego is too massive. Like, I don't know, maybe because I'm not personally that way. Like, I have a huge fucking ego. I mean, that showed in the fight. Like, we can get into it, Julian.
I think if you just fight. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you just grow up in street fights and you grow up in the hood and stuff like that. I think that's just his mentality. Like, you know, you grow up in SoCal, like it's just kind of how it is, like, you know. But anyways, to the actual fight, he almost pulled off the greatest fucking comeback I've almost ever seen in my life. This man took a beating at the end. This man took a beating for 4.5 rounds. Gushing blood, which I called because he has so much built up scar tissue and other shit. Daniel Cormier actually talked about it's not just scar tissue, but some other things, some other reasons why too. But man, I mean, from the side of his head was gushing blood. Here was just split open as usual, and I mean, he was just pouring blood. And then I was like, man, I tell you what, he's fucking standing in there and just taking it. Yeah. Like he's striking back, and he was actually landing some shots on Leon Edwards. And then right with a minute left in the 5th round, Nate Diaz fucking rocks him. And then the whole bar erupted, and it was fucking crazy. But here's where he fucked up though. After he rocked him, he waited like 5 seconds.
He was pointing at him. He was like, hey, look, I just hit you and you're dizzy.
He waited.
He was like pointing at him.
Granted, after he waited 5 seconds and then he went after him. Granted, Leon Edwards was still rocked after those 5 seconds, but I mean, 5 seconds is huge, especially in fighting. Like, it's huge. That gives you a second to kind of like semi-gather yourself, which I think is what happened. And then he went after him, and then he kept on hitting him. And then I think part of the reason is maybe Nate was just so gassed from all the hits and everything, and I think maybe I don't know. I think he surprised himself. I don't know what happened, but if he didn't take those 5 seconds after he rocked him, because if you see Leon Edwards, his eyes rolled to the back of his head. He was stumbling, like he was gone. And I guarantee you, one more strong hit and he was on the floor, and then he would just ground and pound until the ref had to pull him off.
Man, that was the one shot he had, and he didn't take the opportunity. I think in his head, with the whole pointing and everything, one, he was either gassed, had nothing left in him, and like you said, two, he probably just surprised himself. Or three, he already knew the fight was over. He probably already knew, all right, this fight is over. I landed one lucky hit. And who points and stares when you have the one opportunity? Like, what was that, bro?
After getting your ass beat for 4 rounds and 4 minutes. Like
that was your do or die moment, which he didn't execute on for whatever reason. But I don't know. I didn't like that. Yeah. I didn't like the little showmanship at the end. Because that was your one shot, bro. You were losing the whole fight, and you got to keep going till the clock runs out.
Which he did, but he just waited 5 seconds after that, and like that 5 seconds is so crucial because you did it after that, but like you got to do it right then and there, like immediately, because like one more hit, his ass was on the ground. One more hit, and he was on the ground.
Most of the fight, this guy was showing off. Nate Diaz was showing off. Like I saw his ass like 10,000 times because
he would
like bend over and he was like trying to back fist or do some shit. So this was a 5-round fight, right? It was like 5 round.
Yeah.
Was it 5 round, 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was an odd situation. It was a 5-round fight, and it wasn't a main event or a title fight, so it was kind of unusual.
And I would have gave maybe just based on the striking, because you get takedowns and strikes or whatever, you get points for certain things. And just based on the points, what I saw, like I didn't see really Nate Diaz dominate a round. I would have maybe give him just off of points, maybe 1 round. But Edwards took the fight, and like you said, that last 30 seconds, that fury, that was his last chance because he was not winning that match. Like if it would have ended before that Lamb punched, like I would have gave the fight to Edwards anyways. But like you had a chance to knock him out, and maybe he, like I said, this is his ego. Like he thinks he had the fight, he thought he had the points, he was gonna win this easily. Like no, your last chance was those last minute and a half or whatever. And Edwards he was backfired. He survived that shit. You know what I mean? He got rocked good, and he could have been knocked out potentially. He could have lost the whole damn fight in those last seconds, but. I mean, Edwards survived, and guess what? It goes to whoever has the most points, and Edwards, I feel like, dominated most of that fight. Like I said, I would have gave maybe Diaz 1 round, but like he was just showboating. I didn't really see him, I didn't see him put up a good fight. Like I don't know. And Julian, this was like his fight in a long time, right? He hadn't fought in like a year or something.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm not exactly sure on how long, but it's been a minute. I know that.
Julian, question to you. If this is a 3-round fight, obviously he's known for his endurance. That's why they went 5 and he wanted to push 5. Let's say from the get, it's 3-round fight. Do you think it would have made any of a difference for Nate?
No, I mean he got his ass beat for 3 rounds, so I don't think it would have made a difference. I mean, maybe he would have had a little bit of more of a fire at the end of the 3rd round.
Yeah,
but I don't think that made a difference. I almost think the only reason why I even caught Leon Edwards was because I think Leon Edwards just kind of,
yeah.
I think not so much Leon Edwards got tired, because I think he has really good endurance and he did hold his own. I think maybe he just, I don't want to say he got comfortable, but I mean, you're doing 5 rounds and you beat this guy's ass for 4.5 rounds. I think he just kind of let go a little bit, and then it was just like, I don't know exactly what was going through his mind, but that's just kind of like my possibility. Like
I said, as far as like Diaz's fucking ego, like I feel like he was performing for the crowd instead of doing his job, which is fight the guy in front of you. I feel like he was performing for the crowd. Like he was doing like this "Are you entertained" thing, like looking around, he's bending over, stop. I'm like, yo, just fight the guy. Like your job is to fight the guy and win the match. Your job is not to fucking give me a fucking Broadway play right now. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like he was doing to the audience. I was like, whatever.
This man Gabe was getting so mad at Nate Diaz. I've never seen this was hating on Nate Diaz so bad.
How many times you gonna look into the crowd? Like, look at him, bro.
Yeah. Yo, I want to see that shit like in WWE or some shit. Like, I don't want to see this shit like, you know what I mean? That's what the wrestlers do. Like, don't, like, you're a fucking fighter. You're fucking in the UFC. Fight the guy, man. Like, come on, win this fight. You're showing off for everybody else, but like, it would be nice if you actually were fighting the guy and then you showed off. But you didn't even fight. You're just showing off, like, without fighting the guy. So whatever. I don't know. That's it for that fight. You want to go? What was the next one that we had?
The next one was the flyweight championship, where we got the first Mexican-born fighter to ever win the UFC title. It was Brandon Moreno.
That was actually a good fight. This was a good
fight. Was a really good fight. I believe Brandon Moreno ends up winning by rear naked choke in the second round. Very emotional, like, fight for him. It was really heartwarming to see, man. That guy, I mean, he busted his ass for years to get where he was to finally win that thing, and the sportsmanship was really good. They're definitely going to rematch that fight. It was a really good fight, and this is coming from somebody I don't really watch flyweight, or it's just one of those things UFC doesn't really push because there's not a lot of competition there.
They're like small dudes. Like, these are like 5'4".
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, 125 they weigh in at, and yeah, it's just not their super most marketable division. But I did know the champ because he's been pretty dominant for a while. But it was a really good fight. It was fun to watch. I think the Moreno guy won both rounds. Oh, he won the first round, and then obviously he choked him out in the second. And really good jiu-jitsu. Like, because the guy almost got out like twice, and then he was finally able to catch him and get underneath the chin and then lock it right there. And they were
able to reverse some of the moves and stuff. So this was like, we're talking about the Nate Diaz fight. This was way more entertaining than the Nate Diaz fight. And these are two little guys, and like he says, like, it was more technically sound. They were striking more. You saw the guys were getting at it. They weren't running and hiding. They weren't performing. They were like fucking fighting. So this fight was like really, surprisingly good. Like, for what it was.
Yeah. But there wasn't much on that fight other than that. But then we can go to the big dog fight between Martin Vettori and Israel Adesanya, the style bender. That was a good fight. Izzy pretty much held his own almost every round, I would say. It's been a while, I gotta remember, but I want to say he probably lost the third round. He lost one. It was either the third or the second round because he got taken down quite a few times. But the one thing that stood out to me the most was Izzy's takedown defense was elite. I mean, this man's takedown defense was so good. Like, you can tell he definitely took what he learned from moving up to lightweight against Jan Blachowicz and the light heavyweight title fight, and he understood where he failed at. Jan just kept on just overpowering him and things like that. And Izzy always kind of had good takedown defense, but I think he needed that last fight for him to even excel at it even more. And he needed to coming against Martin Vettori, because if he kept the fight standing, he was going to win it. And that's what he did. And then when Vettori was able to take him down, he immediately popped back up instantaneously. He was not able to keep him down long when he was able to. And he just kept the fight up, and then he kept on chopping out his right leg. I think I think Vettori's southpaw. So I think he was chopping at his leg kicks right at this fucking thigh. You can tell that shit was hurting. A couple times he ended up losing balance on it. It was a very technically sound, just perfectly executed fight by Izzy. It was like, that's a champ. Like, that's how you see, like, that guy. You watch that fight, and that was a prime example of, like, that guy's the best in his division. Like, he can do it at all levels. And, like, to me, that I was always kind of on the fence with Izzy about, like, how I feel with him, like, pound for pound. But, like, after seeing that fight, I mean, like, this guy, I mean, he's ran through his entire division. And then after seeing that fight, like, seeing how his growth, seeing what he did, what he learned from his last fight to what he was able to execute in this one, was just like, there's nobody beating him in that division. Nobody.
Yeah. I think this fight, just to tag on what Jules was saying, I think most of this fight, from what I recall, is like Vettori was like, he's one dimensional. Like, he was standing up, he was going to stand up and fight with Adesanya, and he was eating those kicks. He was not fainting. He was not like countering those kicks. He was just landing, keeping his foot there. And by the end of the fight, like, bro, if you look at his chest, like how white his chest was, and then how pink his knee was, I was like, bro, this guy is gonna hurt, bro. He's not gonna be walking because, Adesanya, like you said, style bender. He was changing up, switching it up, doing a lot of kicks, punch combos. He was more, more of an interest kind of pushing the fight, trying to pick his spots. Where Vittorio was just like, yo, I'm gonna just stand up and fight, and if I can catch him here, that's it.
Yep.
Sometimes they would clinch and we would put him against the wall, but Vittorio really didn't, I wouldn't say like he was just pretty much one dimensional. Like
I want to say he
maybe
won the second round. It was either the second or that. I can't think of which one it was, but I remember he like maybe won it, and it was just because he got like a couple takedowns and Izzy didn't land too many shots, and I was like, that's probably the only one you can give to him. And then there was another one where it was like, maybe it was the third round. It was really close, but it was like, at the end of the day, the judges are going to give it to the champ. If a round's that close, they're going to give it to the champ. And then I remember the final 2 rounds, it was Izzy just dominated. He just dominated.
Did you see what he did towards the end when Homeboy was getting those last minute shots in? He was up against the fence pretending to be hurt. He was
yeah. I forgot about that.
I was like, bro.
But even Joe Rogan said, he's like, why isn't he not checking the kicks? I don't understand why he wasn't. He was just eating it. He was just eating it. It made no sense to me.
And he didn't switch feet either. Like he stayed on his right front foot, like his foot.
He stayed southpaw. Yeah,
he didn't change. Southpaw. He didn't like he wasn't giving any other look to Adesanya, and Adesanya kept eating his fucking leg. So. I mean, I don't know where his leg is now. It shouldn't be off his body because it shouldn't be attached because that's how many times Adesanya hit him.
No, they left it in a cooler, bro. They took his leg off and put it in a cooler.
His leg was about as pink as look at Julian's shirt. His leg was about that pink, and then his chest was like as wide as Julian's face. That was a difference in his leg.
Okay, the hell. Wow, it's just shots fired, man.
But Adesanya, when you're the champ, like you know what I mean, like when you're the challenger and you're facing the champion, like you got to push the fight and you got to convince people that yes. I gave this guy a fight, and and I really didn't see that. Like I said, I didn't see any diversity in strategy. He was like, "Yo, I'm just stand up and brawl, and this is the whole fight. And I'm gonna clinch up with him sometimes. I'll put him against the wall, but I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna try to change out of it." And that was it. That was pretty much the fight. So
you can't go in against the champ and not make adjustments. Round to round. So,
well, that's what I was telling. That's what I was telling Gabe, and it's like, I mean. Look at the John Jones fights. Like those are super close fights, but the thing is, you can't keep close fights with the champ. If you're going to win and take over the reins as champion, you either have to knock him out, you got to submit him, you got to end the fight, or if you're going to go to decision, you got to make it clear cut. Like you got to make it clear that you won that fight. It can't be close, because if it's close, it's going to the champ. It just is. It's just, it might not be right. But that's just how it rolls. Like you didn't prove nothing.
We'll be looking forward to the next fights. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of
McGregor Poirier. This is the next big one.
We're gonna be on that. We're definitely all gonna get together and watch that. On to the next news. Wow, did you guys see what's going on in the NBA? There's plenty to talk about there between playoffs. All NBA team selections right now. There's a lot of controversy with that between first, second, third teams. I don't know if you guys saw who made what and who got snubbed. I personally feel like it's always the same people that get snubbed. They put no respect on their name. Like it's ridiculous to see. Real quick, some of these players growing. What's up?
Real quick, let's have a moment of silence for the Philadelphia 76ers. The beating that they took at the second half.
Jojo, what do you want to talk? You want to talk about the game? What do you want to talk about? Because today was pretty crazy on NBA Twitter. It was pretty wild.
Honestly, let's fresh off the press. Let's talk about that game last night, man. Oh,
Utah Clippers.
I wasn't watching the game. I checked in about halftime, and I saw that they were up like 20. Because I was busy doing some other shit, whatever. So I checked in the game. They were at halftime, and I'm watching the half game press, whatever. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty tough. But NBA, like 20-point leads, that's not, that's pretty common. Like there's a lot of teams that go down 15, lead. 20 points, and they come back in a quarter. Miami Heat famously has the third quarter where they just disappear. Anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this game. And I saw all the way to the point where they sat down. I think it was like 6 minutes left. I think in the third quarter they sat Embiid, they sat Ben Simmons right afterwards. A couple of timeouts, they're calling some fouls, and bruh, it was unheard of. Like nobody could fucking make a shot. Nobody in the 76ers could make a shot.
Ben Simmons could not buy a free throw to save his life.
Bro, I said this last.
Joel
Ben
Embiid
Simmons is the most overrated player in the NBA, and I've been calling it for years. That man has done nothing. He has not lived up to anything.
I was thinking about Julian. I was like, yo, because I Ben Simmons. They talk about Ben Simmons. I think he's an above average player, but as far as an elite NBA player, man,
he's overhyped for what he is. He should be in the NBA. Yes.
And you know, like, funny, bro. It obviously the series is not over, and Hawks have the advantage. Stephen A. clear cut said the reason why the 76ers will never win a championship is the fact that Ben Simmons cannot shoot. You can't shoot. You're not going to win a championship like that. It isn't. Yeah. You're not going to do it. If you're the top, 2 player on the team, you can't buy a jump shot or anything behind the 3-point line. What do you expect to do? Drive all game?
And
it's not going to happen. Where's the mid range? Like
just like I said last week, Doc Rivers is not safe. Don't hide behind Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, because who was the one that fucking pulled them out? Doc Rivers. Who's the one that if you have a 25-point lead, I'm sorry, that's bad coaching. Yes, we can blame the players maybe not showing up, but that's bad coaching. You didn't know how to time the game. You didn't know how to call bring in certain people to keep fresh legs, keep defense on. Like, your main goal is to hold the line, man. Hold the line. Like, you got a huge lead. That's bad coaching. Like, when it comes to lead changes and things like that, like, that's bad coaching. We can blame the players all day long, but that's terrible coaching.
I mean, the players are the ones that got to make the points. Like, the coach got to be responsible for the strategy, and whatever strategy they come, when it comes to like timeouts or matchups or what are they playing zone or what kind of players are they doing isolation or something. The coach is going to be responsible, I'll say, for the strategy. But at some point, the players got to make some points, bro.
But a coach is also a motivator. A coach is like at the end of the day, like, there's no everybody's to blame. Like, I think, but like, I do think, like, if your players aren't showing up, put in somebody who will. Like, you got to do something. Like, I just feel like a 25-point lead, I get it. Like, they're not out there playing, but like, to me, there's no excuses. Like, you don't lose a 25-point lead in the playoffs at home.
That's crazy. Like I said, NBA tour is going off. I was joining in because I would say, as a Heat fan.
What'd you tweet from our account? Real fan.
I mean, I haven't been tweeting for the real fans. I forgot. I need to get the password again because I got a new phone and new login stuff. But
yeah.
Man, NBA tour is going off. I saw something about I saw a stat that I think they put out there. I think Barstool pulled it out about the win percentage of like. The win percentage was like above like 93% the whole game for Philadelphia. Philadelphia was supposed to win 93%, and then like the last 4 minutes, that shit dropped like all the way. It's incredible.
Could you imagine live betting that game?
Yo,
and you know what's crazy?
If you live betted that game,
you know what I mean? We're getting on the 76ers. We're talking to trash. We're doing a thing. Yo, let's just give some credit to the Hawks, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Trae Young.
Trae Young, bro. Playoff Trae.
Give the Hawks some credit, man. They're one of the hottest teams in the playoff right now, man. Came off a huge win. Obviously, it was the Knicks, but still big for the city. Hawks were in a playoff team last few seasons, and they're on the verge of taking out the 1 seed in the East.
Trae Young he's proving to be he's proving to be one of the most clutch players in the league. Like, the performance after performance of when he needs to get it done, man. When he needs to get it done, he gets it done. Like, it's just, he's not complaining about how he doesn't need help. He's not like, I mean, think about it. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of good supplementary players on that team, but he's the superstar, the one and only star in that team, and he's just getting it done.
Man.
He's getting it done.
They won the first game of the series against 76ers, and they have a 25-point comeback, bro. They're here to stay, man. They believe in themselves,
bro.
Like, straight like that. Like, you come
up with somebody else.
First game, and you're fighting back 25-point deficit against the 1 seed. Oh, they're not scared right now, man. They got the series.
Give them another star.
They can do one more game.
I'm telling you, you give them another star player, like, they're immediately contenders. Like, they're already pushing for it. Shit, like, as it is. Like, I mean, yeah, that man Trae Young. Damn, I should have got that fucking rookie card, man.
Yo, let's go back.
Back to episode 3.
What I did? Like, how much is this card going for now?
I called you out on it. I was like, listen, Julian, you're telling our fans, you're telling us to invest in these Trae Young cards, and now we're going full circle. Where are those cards
we
at?
wanted to see you buy one, and you never.
Hey, I proved myself that. Look, listen to me when it comes to like predictions. I was like, Trae Young cards, buy him young, buy him low, because he's gonna pop off sooner rather than later. Like he's gonna pop off, and look what's happening, man.
So where your cards at? You ain't buying any?
I didn't buy any.
He ain't getting any. He's gonna think about getting them now. But yo, shout out to Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, man. I mean, that's the thing about the playoffs, dog. It's like, yo, forget the regular season. Whoever's the hottest team, you know what I mean? The hottest team is going to, and I would say that they're one of, talking about the NBA in general, like they're one of the teams that are the healthiest teams, right? Because they haven't had too much injury to bother them. We've seen Harden out. Kyrie was out, coming into the playoffs. All these players, LeBron, AD, you know what I mean? We've seen all these players get hurt. And luckily, they're one of the healthiest teams, and they're a hot team. They're playing team basketball, which is crazy because in that third quarter, I saw their defense. They was like, yo, they're giving up these easy buckets. They're letting people slide behind their defense, a little pass, whatever. And fucking the 76ers just imploded, dog. And it was fucking amazing. So
we all knew it, though.
They're a hot team, man.
Yeah, I don't want to celebrate too early, but, like I said a few episodes back, I'm actually going for this Hawks team to get out of the series, man. And let's see, one more game. You know what it takes. So it's not a guaranteed win. They still got to fight for it. Who knows? 76ers might take the adjustments needed to beat this team because they're still a beatable team. They're not unstoppable. Yeah. So
this
might be
through though. I'll say this might be a little early, but like I think I could easily see them make it to the finals. I think it's possible. The Nets don't scare me though. Like, I mean, like on paper they do. Like, can they even get past the Bucks? Or what? Truth? I think the Bucks are the favorites.
Listen, brother, you missed out on a big game if you're saying that because you didn't see KD drop that 49-point triple-double the other night without Kyrie and with James Harden 5 points.
No, I understand. I understand.
Bro, one win away. If that didn't scare you, that scared everyone else. I don't know what else.
It's going to Game 7, right?
And I'm a LeBron fan stating like, KD did what he had to do and show he was the best player right now to keep them in this series. Because you go winning 2 in a row, then you lose 2 back-to-back. You lose Kyrie, and you come in and drop damn near a 50-point triple-double with the team on your back. Respect, because that shows how good that team is.
Weren't the Bucks up 3-2?
Harden could be out, and then you got a player like KD who could come in and do that and just hold it down, which is ridiculous. All 3 are still not playing. Think about that. All 3 have not played together yet in the playoffs. But imagine
what's the series? What's the series?
3-2.
Okay, I thought Bucks were already up 3-2 for some reason. I thought it was going to Game 7.
Bro, not yet. Who knows?
6.
Oh,
I don't know. But yeah, I understand. But here's the thing, though. It's like, but they are really inconsistent, though. It's like you never know what Nets team you're getting. Like, you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but it's crazy how good they are. No matter who's dropping, you got the next man up.
That's what I'm saying.
Control a whole game, like.
I understand, but then there's times where they just don't show up. None of them show up. Like sometimes.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, that's the benefit of having a super team. Like I said before, it's like, yo, if Kyrie's having a bad night, guess what? We got KD, we got James Harden. Any of these guys are closers. Any of these guys can close games. Any of these guys that have been in pressure situations, in playoff situations, and that's the benefit of having players like that, elite players that have been around the league, and they can just close for you. You can have any closer. Anybody can close, and you know that's what Kevin Durant did. That's what everybody kind of expects out of him. It's like, yo, put the team on your back.
That's what everyone wanted to see these last few years because give or take, KD's been on a super team for the last few years that we didn't see. Yeah, he had the 2 clutch shots against LeBron those years. He did what he had to do in the finals, but that was his moment. It was make or break, literally, because look, if you didn't hold it down for your squad in the playoffs, to go up in the series without injured, like that was like the LeBron moment for KD right there when you don't have anybody. And, LeBron missed his moment this season. That's what that KD game is what people want to see LeBron do this season, which he's done plenty of times in the past. That's why a lot of people are disappointed in LeBron this year because he wasn't able to pull it off. tip your hat to the Suns. LeBron didn't do it. He didn't drop his 50-point triple-double like we're accustomed to see him doing when you need him in crunch time. But KD did it for his team, right now. Now
all I'm saying is the Hawks are hot, man, and that's something that's scary. When you see a team on a roll like that, I don't care what sport it is, when you get that momentum going, you almost get this feeling that you're unstoppable. And when you get that feeling, like, it's just they're scared. Yeah. Like the Suns, man. The Suns are a scary team, bro. They're on fire, and you don't want it to be in that path. Like it's scary being around a team like that. And then you have on the other side, you have a team that's like up and down throughout the thing. And it's like all it takes for a team that's like it seems like when they got it figured out, man. Look at this. Look at the Heat, man. Last year, they got it figured out. I mean, obviously, I see
what you're saying with the Hawks too. You know what I mean? But I just don't see them on the same level as the Suns right now. I know you're just making a comparison.
Yeah.
Hawks are still fighting for that. They haven't earned anything yet. Like I said,
I will say I don't think they're going to get swept. They're not going to get
forced right now, looking like the Suns. You know what I mean?
No, and I understand that, but I also think they could push it to a game 6. Or even 7, or even a 7. Sure. I think it's. I would not be surprised if they push it to a 7. I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
Wow.
I think it's possible.
You have faith in that team, then.
I think it's possible, man. Like, I don't know. When you see people hot like that, it's scary. I mean, nobody would have thought the Heat would have made it to the finals, and like everybody thought the Heat were going to get smacked by the Bucks, and then they went on to beat. Oh my God, what's my mind drawing?
All the tough teams.
Yeah,
we beat the Pacers. We swept the Pacers. Gentlemen sweep the Bucks. And then we beat the Celtics, and then we went to the finals.
Celtics, that's what it was.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Go ahead, Gabe. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, JoJo. I mean, we talk about the games. I mean, like I said, I think Atlanta's a little bit short. They're kind of outstacked. If they go up against the Nets, I think they're kind of a smaller team. I would say, and not really a big bite team.
They are a smaller team, yeah.
We still got some. Let the Hawks come out the East before we talk about the Hawks Suns. You know what I mean? Let's see how.
Let them get out of this series, and we'll see the matchups and everything. Let's see if they can.
I think they're closing it at home. I think they're closing it at home.
But JoJo, did you want to get into anything else in NBA news is going on this week?
Yeah, man. NBA all team selections. Do you guys know who made what teams or anything like that?
Well, I was gonna bring up the Western Conference about what was happening over there first. I don't know if you guys want to do that.
You talking about the Clippers game?
Yeah, what happened?
I didn't watch the game. I saw maybe the beginning of it, but then I turned that shit off. Like I said, hard to watch West Coast teams. I know. What the Clippers won?
Paul George dropped how many points? He went off though.
Paul George is
how many points was
it? That's the real question. Is PG-13 back now?
Bro,
I mean, he held it down.
We'll see.
No more playoff P,
but
right?
no Kawhi, and to win that game was it in Utah too? Like that's crazy.
Can he do it again? Can he do it again? Because Kawhi is not playing. He's out.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm really surprised with the Jazz. I thought the Jazz should have been done with. Like, I didn't think the Clippers would be. I mean, I think they're up, right? They're 3-2.
We're talking about hot teams. Like the Clippers are hot too. Like they fucking shut out the Mavs. I didn't expect them to go over the Mavs, like beat the Mavs. Like I expect that series to be over. Like I was kind of waiting for the disappointment Clippers. And they're putting up a fight. You know what I mean?
I'm disappointed.
I still don't believe in it. I'm not gonna believe the hype. But the Clippers are playing well. They're a hot team right now as well. Like if the Hawks are the hot team in the East, the Clippers are the hot team in the West. You know what I mean?
It's funny, yeah. They're a sleeper hot team right now, and no one expected them to come out of either series right now. I'm not even rooting for them. They started 0-2 against the Mavs, came out of that series game 7. They started 0-2 in this series. Now they're up 3-2. They won 3 games in a row.
Yo, if you're a Jazz fan, you have to be disappointed. You have way more firepower on that team, and you have the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and you're losing without even Kawhi. Like they don't even have Kawhi and you're losing. Like, come on. Like, what is going on?
Does this go to the players or the coaching?
Be honest, I didn't really watch that particular game, but I do think, like I said, man, I
lose 3 in a row in a series though. Who are you gonna blame? They lost 3 in a row now. They were up 2-0. They lost 3 in a row. Who do you blame?
I think you blame, I think kind of same thing the Sixers. You kind of blame everybody. You kind of blame the Sixers. I mean, I'm not going to say who to blame because I didn't watch that game in detail to really like say who won and who's the X factor of why they're losing. But I mean, like I said, when you see losing streaks and you see like big comebacks and stuff, to me, I can't help but think about like the coach like not putting your players in a position to win the game. And I think, yeah, a lot of people, NBA has kind of become less of like play calling and just more like kind of just going out there, more of like a players league, and you do that. But like, I mean, I think having a good coach does do something, though. I mean, you can make a team and that was nothing into something. Like, you can bring something out of players and putting your players in the right position. I mean, you have certain guys out there who probably shouldn't be out there together, and then putting other guys in there that should be in there together because they bounce off each other.
Jazz probably kind of them out already, going up 2-0. Now they're on a 3-game losing streak. They got on the verge of getting eliminated.
Maybe they got soft.
Crazy. If I was a Jazz fan right now, bro, I'll be holding my breath because anything can, even without Kawhi, who knows? PG could go off for 50 next game. Like, he's definitely capable of doing that. So I'd still be nervous. Like, you know,
I'll tell you what, though, man, the Suns are getting a lot of rest right now. They're getting a lot of rest.
Oh yeah, but Julian, I don't know if you heard, they got a little something to worry about over there in Phoenix, man. And I feel like your boy Chris Paul can never ever catch a break in the playoffs. Oh, it's not an injury, but he's on COVID protocol right now. So whatever the process is with that, and it's crazy. Like, he might have to quarantine or, you know, whatever the rules are going forward. And hopefully whatever he has to do, he's back in time for that first game.
Well, I don't know if you heard about that. Happen. I didn't hear about that, but the best thing that happened is that they swept Denver. Like, so, and you just got to hope that this series goes into a game 7 and just give yourself as much time as possible to get through the whatever protocols.
You don't want to throw them off their rhythm. Let's say, you know, knock on wood.
No, for sure.
Miss that first game, you know what I mean? Like,
but I'm saying all you can root for right now, all you can root for is the other series to get dragged out.
Long series, a game 7.
Yeah, that's all you can root for.
Yeah.
So apparently the league they have this stuff protocols. Obviously last year everything was in the bubble. They're all in Orlando, so everything was shut down a little bit more. But apparently I think they said about 75 or 80% of the leagues are already vaccinated, but they do have separate protocols for separate people. So if you are vaccinated, I guess it's like lesser time. Like, you need lesser time to quarantine or test or whatever. But if you're not, then you know, you're gonna get that 2-week notice of you can't come back for 2 weeks. And when you're in the middle of a playoff series, like, I hope these guys got vaccinated, you know. And that's one of the things, I guess, one of the criticisms they said about LeBron James, because James came out about the vaccination, saying, he's like, oh, that's a private matter, I'm really not gonna talk about it, whether I do or don't. He was very vague about it. It's kind of like,
and then he was out with the Drake and all that, and then he got a slap on the wrist. Nothing happened to him.
Yeah, and that's what people are making comparisons to, about like, yo, Adam Silver, you know, he went to some Drake commercial or doing some shit for Patron or whatever the fuck it was, and he was like, oh yeah, everybody was safe. He got no game suspension in the middle of that series, literally in the middle of a series. Like, I think he went out that Saturday night and they played that Sunday or something. No game suspension. He played whatever, and they got booted anyways. But like, compare that compared to Chris Paul, like, I don't know, the treatment.
The sad reality is.
It was confirmed. It's confirmed. Like, he was vaccinated. So Matt Barnes, you know, had a phone call. He was on camera today or yesterday, and he confirmed that. He had a brief conversation with him. He's vaccinated, and he says all Chris Paul does is go work out, chill with the team, and go home, or whatever, you know, they do. And he hasn't done anything extra. So it's kind of like, I don't know where this is coming from. Like I said, it's bad luck, and Chris Paul in the playoffs, there's always something going on. He just overcame his shoulder injury, so everything was looking good. And hopefully, like I said, it's not like a downfall for the Phoenix Suns for something so stupid or whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
I'd also say too, I mean, like, we compared all that, but at the end of the day, like, LeBron is the NBA's most profitable player, like, and he's going to get special treatment. Like,
and Chris Paul's not.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not LeBron though. Like, he's not.
But he's still a figure in the NBA. A, he's a veteran player.
He's a figure, B, but
I think he was a player.
You want LeBron?
He's the head of the
playing game.
Yeah,
I understand that, but at the end of the day, when this was happening around like the play-in game too, it's like NBA, they want LeBron for ratings in the play-in game playing. Like, and at the end of the day, LeBron he's the face of the NBA. And he's going to get special treatment because of that. Like, you're not going to like sit LeBron out in a play-on game.
He should have sat. He was in the middle of a fucking series. He should have sat.
You should have, but at the end, situations are situational, and it's LeBron James, and you're not. The NBA is not going to do that. They're not going to sit him out in a play-in game Like that's ratings right there. That's money, and at the end of the day, money talk. And LeBron is the face of the NBA, and you're gonna have him play.
Hey, listen,
and who's to say the same thing with Chris Paul?
We're not even experts on what the protocols are, so we can go back and forth and argue.
Well, I'm not talking about the protocols. I'm talking about just like in
right
general.
Or wrong and
well, I
get it, man.
I'm talking about in general. LeBron's always going to get special treatment. Anybody who's the face of the league is always going to get special treatment. They're not going to get the same punishment as other guys. It's not, because they're the ones that make money for the league. It's just how it is. You know how much the NBA is hating that. Like the NBA like headquarters, they're hating the fact that LeBron's not in the playoffs. They hate it. Like, they hate it. They want him in the playoffs.
They called you and told you? They're like, yo,
bro, I mean, it's just a business.
LeBron is out right now. Like,
it's a business. Bro, this is how it is. I guarantee you look at as NBAs are already struggling with ratings as it is, like they've been historically down, like as a whole. Not having LeBron there, like that's even like they want LeBron there. They want him there.
A lot of sports, though, you know what I mean. NFL ratings went down over time.
No, NFL went up. NFL's been higher than ever.
MLB,
MLB's down.
They might have went back up, but like obviously during the whole Kaepernick thing and everything, ratings and stuff went down as well. Not to bring up that topic, but I'm saying like as a whole, it is what it is. Like ratings fluctuate, year to year. That's why they make adjustments.
Well,
and I'm talking about this and that, like
Well, from what I understand, NBA's year over year has been significantly going down, and so is MLB, and I think hockey and football have been progressively going up, from what I understand.
Okay, yeah, but when you're that low, if you're like a smaller market like hockey, there's only room to grow. So you're gonna have, a lot of room to grow over the years. Whereas when you're on top, you know what I mean. Of course, they're gonna judge any increase or decrease that they'll see, but you're still up top.
No, I mean, you're talking about NFL still rising too, and that's still the biggest league in the world.
Yeah. So let's get into JoJo. Let's get into the NBA All-Star picks that came out, because I think they announced them. They announced like deep point on stuff.
All NBA team. We're gonna start that. So basically, it's broken down to 3 teams, top players in the league, per position. So we'll start with All NBA third team. We'll start with that. We'll go from third, second, first. We got your boy, Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. You got Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving. All right. Second NBA team, we got Damian Lillard, Julius Randle, made second NBA team. Great season. Chris Paul, Joel Embiid, LeBron, and LeBron. Those are the top 5 right there for a second NBA team. First NBA team, best player in every position in the NBA this season. We got Steph Curry, Giannis, Luka, Jokic, and Kawhi Leonard.
In the third team?
Oh, that's number 1.
First team, number 1.
Oh, I was gonna say, I didn't realize you were going up. I thought you were going down. I was like, that's the third team? I was like
3, 2, 1. What do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with any of the picks.
I'm not upset at that. Yeah.
I mean, these guys had great years as far as the top picks. Like, a lot of it's like splitting hairs or whatever. But as far as like first team, second team, I really didn't feel like anybody. Jojo, do you feel like anybody got snubbed? Because I feel like
that's surprising. You don't think anyone? You probably don't know off the top of your heads. I can name a few players.
I will say,
I will say, be like, wow. Listen, hold on.
I will say one person who probably shouldn't be there.
Jason Tatum. You don't think he belongs in here? Okay. Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Possibly. Okay. And
James Harden, even though he was injured, he's not in any of the top 3.
Did you say Booker?
Not there yet.
I will say this. I mean, I love Jimmy Butler, but I do not think he should have been in it this year.
Hold on. We also got KD's not on any of the lists.
I was going to say that too. Yeah, KD wasn't on there.
What about Damian Lillard?
He was 2. He was second team.
Okay. Trae Young, your boy Trae Young
got snubbed.
Not even an all-star selector.
Name me the third team again. What was the third team again?
We got Zion and D-Book not on there. Third team, I got you right now.
You said Butler?
We got Butler, Rudy Gobert, Paul George, Bradley Beal. He played lights out this season.
I mean,
and Kyrie Irving.
You could take out probably maybe George and Kyrie. I can't remember how good of a Kyrie had this season. I gotta look at his numbers, but
he didn't play a lot of games.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He had a very efficient season. Like if you look at his numbers, it was very efficient. But then again, he missed 20+ games, so it's kind of like.
Yeah.
All right, let me completely unbiased and don't use your bias, JoJo. But do you really think LeBron should have been second team? Like, do you really think he even should have been in it at all? Like,
all right. To be unbiased, he didn't have his best season. But his worst season is still better than a lot of the other players. You can't judge him.
But I'm talking about this season with people who should have made the team.
Yeah. So that's exactly the point I was going to. We might not have seen it as LeBron James' best season, but his season by the numbers was still better than those players
to everybody else.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like number 2 was reasonable, or even 3, 100%. Yes, because he's LeBron. People might feel like they'll throw his name on there to make the selection, but obviously,
how long was he out this year?
He definitely wasn't first team All NBA this year.
How long was he out this year? Like a month or 2?
I mean,
I think I'm not sure. It might have been like a month.
It was a good while.
Yeah, he came back right before the final.
It was like a month and a half or something like that, which that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games, man.
But then there are other players who made the list that were injured as well. Like it is what it is. But like I said, his worst season is better than 80% of the NBA's best season. You know what I mean? Numbers wise, stats wise, anything you can say. Like maybe it wasn't the best LeBron version we've ever seen.
But do you think there was guys that did better than he did that didn't make the list?
That's not on the list. Well, we're talking positions though. He's the best player in his position. Name someone in his position that deserves to be there or above him. You can name all these other players.
What are they putting him as? Small forward?
The list is by position.
Are they putting him as small forward? Right.
Small forward, power forward.
Yeah.
Like I said, maybe Paul George. I gotta look at the numbers. Maybe Paul George and Kyrie. Just like you said, Kyrie injury and Paul George. I don't really. I know he had games this season.
I felt like he was quiet this year.
Yeah, he had a productive year, but I feel like
not that it was bad, but I don't know if it was like what Gabe was like. It wasn't like he was bad, but it was like D-Book's not on there, man. Like or like KD, like.
Jojo, did they come out with Rookie of the Year? Because I know they announced like the top 3, right?
Your boy, drum roll, LaMelo Ball.
That was what I said. I don't know why I couldn't remember.
Yeah. LaMelo Ball is your Rookie of the Year.
That's pretty good. I think who was top 3? It was like
Anthony Edwards.
Real quick, I will say
LaMelo Ball pretty much.
Edwards.
To me, Luka is a huge fucking snub. Huge. No, wait, no. You said he made first team, right?
He's on the first team.
First team.
I got mixed up between what you were saying was the team and who got snubbed. My bad.
Yeah.
I know. I throw a lot of names out there. That's how I was like, listen close. I throw a lot. Because
also they came out with all.
KD's rough, man. Not having KD or James Harden on there that's. I don't know.
Yeah, they also came out with all defensive. I saw. I think Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They made second team. I forget who made the first team, but they came out with all that shit. I mean,
no Bam on the list either.
Was Embiid on there? Embiid on there?
Embiid?
No.
Yeah, he was second.
I'm about to say he should be on there. Like he had a good. As much as I don't care for the Sixers, he's a good player.
Honestly, for those who got snubbed, I'm trying to think. Who would they potentially replace? Maybe Jimmy B.
I would say Jimmy B.
Like Gabe said,
I agree with those two
because he was out a lot of the games.
I agree with that.
Julius Randle had a hell of a season. He earned his way up there. Damian Lillard, surprised he's not first, and Curry's not second, even though they both had fantastic seasons. Yeah, man.
Curry was what was he? Second or first?
Nah, he was in first. He was first NBA.
Yeah,
was it?
That's all I got for NBA, man.
No. Do we want to talk about the coaches? Do we want to bring up because there was a lot of shit going on NBA Twitter today. Maybe I'll bring it up. I think today, last week there was an article that came out. I think it was written in The Athletic how there was a rift in the Mavs management. How I forget who the name of the guy, but they had like a silent. There was a rift between the players and the management. Pretty much, this article came out, and Mark Cuban went on Twitter, and he's like, total bullshit. He like highlight, they quote tweet. It's like total bullshit. But comes out today that not only did one of their executives leave a couple days ago, but came out today that Rick Carlisle, their head coach of 13 years, is deciding to leave, even though he has 2 more years left on his contract. He's deciding to leave. And I think mainly the rumor is that there's a split between Luka Doncic, because I guess a lot of times this season Luka Doncic was yelling and like berating him while he was on the court, doing a lot of gestures towards the coach. And I guess Rick Carlisle took offense to a 22-year-old young player kind of heading over the team. So they have, this article came out last week saying, oh, there's a problem with the Mavs management. Mark Cuban says, oh, this is bullshit. This is all fake. This is made up. And then the next week, manager, one of the executives leaves. The head coach leaves. So now it's only Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic. And I guess, that's kind of the rift that happened announced today.
You got Porzingis out here complaining.
Yeah, but I mean,
shut your bitch ass up, Porzingis.
He's like he got a job, bro. He's like he got a job. When I heard he got traded, when I heard he got traded from the Knicks, I was like, yo, that is the craziest shit ever. Why would the fuck would you trade Porzingis? Because Porzingis was having a fucking year when he was playing with the Knicks. But then come to find out, he gets traded. And like, oh, what the fuck are the Knicks doing? Come to find out, he has like some allegations against him. And I'm like, oh, that's probably pretty smart. That's probably a smart move. But he really hasn't done anything. I don't know what are you complaining about? Like, I think he's a starter on that. He plays with Luka on the starting.
Yeah. Injury prone now. You know what I mean? He's not playing like how he played on the Knicks. You know what I mean? Knicks ain't really have nothing to worry about. Like, I know you get criticized a lot playing in New York and everything, but we knew those teams weren't going anywhere. So he was balling. Yeah. Now you get into the spotlight. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're in playoffs, and you're trying to win a championship. You play a little different. And he wasn't showing out the way he should have.
And I think part of it too was like when he came in, people were like Porzingis. It was kind of a joke. Like they picked this random guy, like nobody's ever heard of. And apparently I think Porzingis is like a huge Kobe fan. But that year that he started, like he played pretty well with the Knicks, but he's really been lackluster this year as far as with the Mavs. Like he really kind of disappeared into just a regular,
the thing is, with player, with guys that tall and they don't really have size in them, they have such a short window of like being able to be like great. Very few guys.
He's young. That's the only thing he has probably for him is that potential for improvement. But it's just like he started so hot, and it's like now you drop, and I'm like, you're not really doing much now. You know what I mean?
I think he became an average player, not like a superstar from like how he kind of was in the beginning. Everyone looked at him, so you kind of overlook him now. It's like, okay, they got Porzingis, cool.
Yeah, but you also have Luka on that team, who's the superstar. So now he's no longer like the guy anymore, and that kind of shows a lot. It was like when you get put up with other guys, like look at Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a superstar until he went to go play in Cleveland. Now he just kind of came. Is he still playing, bro? Is he still in Cleveland?
Yeah, he's still playing with them. He was mad. And did you see that play this year that happened where he was an inbound pass and he just like kind of just said fuck it, and then they stole it and put it up? You didn't see that? And then I think they sat him.
That just needs to retire, bro. The thing is, I used to love Kevin Love in Minnesota. He was a beast, man, back then. He was nasty. Yeah, man.
He used to have 40-point games, 20 rebound games, whatever his stats were. Like, this guy was ridiculous.
Yeah. He was just
what other coaches you got?
I was going to say, because earlier this year, we were talking earlier about the Boston Celtics and how they had a management change. They had Danny Ainge, who was their GM, who I don't know if he got fired or he's like, oh, I'm leaving. He retired or something. I forget if he got fired or he just announced.
He didn't get fired. Nah, he let his position go.
Okay, so and then they upgraded Brad Stevens. They made Brad Stevens GM. So I don't know if Brad Stevens is still going to be like a coach GM. But they ascended Brad Stevens to that GM position with rumors that like Danny Ainge, he might go coach the Utah Jazz because I guess Danny Ainge is like a Mormon. So, it's in Utah. That's where the Mormons main church is or something. And that was like kind of rumor. But I'm like, yo, if I'm the Jazz, I'm like,
that's a huge stretch. That's such a huge
I had a hot season without Danny Ainge. I don't need Danny Ainge. But I think I saw something today on Twitter. Somebody made a joke that like they're talking about the song Fancy, I guess. The song Fancy by Iggy Azalea? I don't know what year it came out, but they said
it's old song.
Ever since that song, they said ever since that song Fancy, there's only been two two coaches who remain in their position as head coach, and that's Greg Popovich and Eric Spoelstra. Those are the only two coaches. So whenever that song came out, whatever 2000, whatever 10,
11 maybe,
2011. Those after 13 years, those are the only two coaches that still in their job that they got hired for, and that all these coaching positions are open. There are a lot of time, a lot of shit is going on as far as these coaches firing, coaches leaving, and it's not even like the offseason. Like we're still in the middle of fucking playoffs. But the rumor I'm hearing now that on Twitter is like everyone's complaining about Bud. We're talking about the Bucks earlier. That Budenholzer, was it Mike Budenholzer, the Bucks coach? Like he's not really doing. Like I said, to me, one of the most overrated coaches, Budenholzer. I would say the one for the 76ers. What's his name?
Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers.
We got
overrated.
Brad Doc Rivers slander on this show.
The rumor is that the Bucks might not keep him. So depending on, I don't know how far the Bucks go in the series. I kind of I picked them to go all the way, but they haven't been playing very well. That he might lead that position going forward. So there's a lot of coaching jobs that have opened up, and like I said, we're in the middle of a fucking playoff. Like it's just like we're you hear all this news like in the off season, like we're gonna go into the draft or whatever. We hear all this shit ever, but like all this shit's happening going on. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Drops the mic.
Kind of up in there.
Drops the mic.
Jojo, do you want to talk about anything else in the NBA going on? Anything else that interests you? I don't know.
That's everything I had to say going on with NBA news. But let's keep watching. Second half of the season, MLB's going on. Lots going on here. Is hockey playoff season done?
No.
No,
that's getting crazy, strong. Bro. Eastern Conference Finals. The conference
have a lot
finals.
to talk about these next coming episodes, guys. So another great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Real Fans Pod. Where can you find us, Gabe?
All the things. You can find us on Walmart.com, Craigslist. You can
Amazon.
Find us on Twitch. I'm not going to say Twitch because Twitch is a real thing. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. Real Fans Podcast. We appreciate
it. Finish line.
The food court.
Okay.
But appreciate y'all coming out, checking us out. We'll see y'all next time on the other side.